Hi everyone, I'm Bruce Swartz, and thanks so much for stopping by to check out my research and my channel, for connecting with me and with this magnificent community. A fun-loving, researching community is what we are. What are we looking at? The surface of the moon. Today, and for the past year, I've been looking into, of course, geology. There are so many fields that you have to look into if you want to completely understand the surface of the moon. And of course, lava flows on Earth, lava flows in space would probably not be the same depending on the planet's atmosphere, of course. But I was looking today at Hawaiian lava flows. They talk about lava trees. There are many different types of flows, meaning I'm going to keep this basic because it's a very in-depth thing to get into. But for example, the way the lava will flow will depend on the force, of course, of the lava fire itself, meaning the entire meteor crater itself. Now, hear me out. I know there are structures up there. I'm just wondering if it's a real lava flow that occurred on the moon and the structures were built over top of them and inside of them, inside of lava tubes. And this is why NASA wants to build inside the lava tubes. How are lava tubes formed? Once the lava flow cools down and forms a crust over top of the flow, the entire flow. Inside of that flow, if it's big enough and hot enough, it will create a perfect cylindrical tunnel of the flow that will continue to flow, leaving the center hollow, leaving a very insulated area to make a base. It's hidden, it's safe from meteorites and asteroids too. So different types of lava flows. We have elephant skin that I learned about, and that's it's less viscous, less viscosity, less force of a lava flow. You will have flatter floor, they say, but I'm comparing the lava flows to the surface of the moon, and yes, yet very similar, but unfortunately, so long me, it's not cutting it. It's a very good way to compare the surface of the moon, but we can't leave the lava flow technology and what everyone learned about it block out or rule out any other possibility of there being structures there, because people are just saying this is lava flow. They say as for the flat plane floors, they say, and yes, the lava as it descends can go down at different stages throughout the month or throughout the year. It's complete time of burning, of course, and will leave these flat planed edges on each side. But when we look on the moon, it's not just about the flat plane edges. It's complete cities and buildings in unison, objects in unison, and of course mechanical devices that even though we don't know what they are, we know, like here overhead, if we fly over a company, a hidden company in the woods, we'll have no idea what they're building or what they're producing or manufacturing, but we will know it's something that was man-made. They say in the bottom of the oceans here on Earth, lava trees are formed, meaning the lava flow will stick together, it will rise up sort of in a ball, one over the other, and make these odd shapes and mounds here and there, like we see monolithic objects on the moon. But you know what? It's not cutting it. They're just not natural formations. But you know what? It was very close and very smart, because the ideal of the lava flow and the surface of the moon is mixing us all up. I mean, hey, there could be lava that did flow on the moon, right? But the structures is what I'm looking at. Whether it's on lava flow or not, that's besides the point. In geology, they say lava trees are formed in the bottoms of our oceans. Look like these objects. I would not understand that any, because I'm trying to compare, understand me. I'm trying to compare the idea of lava having flowed on the surface of the moon. I mean, I don't rule anything out. Yes, confirmed 125,000%, there are many structures and objects and mechanical devices on the moon. But are they on a basaltic lava? This is what I'm trying to find out. I'm not paying too much of a bother of an attention to it, but nonetheless, very interesting how the field of geology and lava flow is very similar to the surface of the moon. It's not a wonder why the story was brought to that field. But then highways, here, a photo over top of Earth, high levels, high up in the sky, of course, with the sun reflecting on an icy highway spiraling around a mountain. Yes, it does definitely look like lava flow. Of course, from the moon, they would be seeing a gray surface and probably would not even see any trees in a forest. A forest, yeah, a forest, and I'm going to show you guys soon, okay? When you put it in black and white, you do realize it looks like craters on the surface, right? It really does look like the moon. Many areas on Earth here, without manipulating too much a photo, just by changing the color, taking the color out, really does look like the moon. Take a photo of Earth in black and white and take a photo of the moon surface in black and white. Very comparable. In geology, I learned that there are many ways volcanoes can erupt. If it's an aggressive eruption, excuse my terms, of course, I'm talking directly exactly what's going on, and sometimes I don't use the proper terms, but I'm making you understand the same principle. A viscous, I believe, a flow, an eruption, a very big, huge eruption. They dry, they say, they cool in the air. The magma, when it reaches the surface and it erupts and it flies into the air, it can dry, it can cool down, and the shapes freeze in animation right there and then, and they fall to the surface and can leave very unusual bone-like looking objects, structure, face-like objects. Um, but it doesn't mean that that's what we're looking at. Because when you look at the surface of the moon and you look at how the objects, the monolithic objects or towering objects are placed, they're connected to corridors, very well thought out corridors on the moon. I'm seeing the proof. The proof is there. I'm not making it up. Very grid-like surface. Some guy the other day was talking about Barres. I think his name is. He was talking about how it looked like I was doing 3D imaging. I actually do use 3D imaging, and I always mention it. Guys, some of you are just coming here to try to find my flaws, but it's funny because a lot of people, until you use a telescope, you're really not going to have any idea of what's going on. It's a complete different world when you own a telescope. Big or small, my friends, even small telescopes are absolutely incredible, amazing contrast. Say to yourself, the closer you get until you buy a very big telescope, like the 14 I just did, and we're anxious to try, we're not going to see much definition. The bigger the telescope gets, the less definition you have. There's always some adjustment to be done. I had a lava flow buzz this morning. I just wanted to talk about it. It's interesting and it has to do a lot with the moon and the structures that we are finding. Uh, imagine laser cutting out structures or with whatever tools you have in lava, basaltic lava. Could you imagine the strength of the object? Could you imagine it being insulated very easily because you have already this natural insulation outside and protection against any meteor, asteroid, etc., radiation, heat? You can protect. You can keep it cool as you can keep it warm because you're well insulated. Some lava flows with a hard turtleback shell-like top. I mean, you cannot always poke your stick into a lava flow because sometimes the top surface is a shell and it's very hard. And this is what's forming at times, can form here on Earth, like we see in Hawaii, shapes, and but they're distracting us from what's on whatever looks like basaltic lava. Yes, okay, there could possibly be lava flow down there, and that's why we're seeing symmetrical base objects or surfaces. It's what's on top of them. There are other objects on top of them. Whether it be carved out in the basaltic lava, it would be absolutely amazing and incredible, and not something we've never seen. We have ancient tombs and objects here on Earth, in the mountains, statues that are millions, thousands, or hundreds of thousands, I don't know how old they are, that have were done there with ancient tools. So it could have very well been done on the moon too. Check out WSO YouTube channel, see what he's getting up in the sky.